Not from Hunter x Hunter.
しかし異世界でなんとモフミに美少女に転生ではなく転生したら剣でした。
Taking the metaphorical bull by the horns right from the get-go and letting the viewer know, yes, there's been a lot of these, but at least we're upfront about it.
ちょっと待て。死んで剣に転生?
Not only is he a great voice actor for the role, but I like the comedy he can bring across in his voice, not taking itself quite so seriously. You know, I look at some stats the other day and like 80% of viewers aren't subscribed. What the heck, dude? You should really subscribe. You're like my positive energy into your veins. Just you wait and see. Oh, and the bell too, because YouTube is bloody useless otherwise.
異世界転生ものだとチート能力が身についてたりするよな。何か俺に能力は。
If this is a recurring element to the story, even if just at the start, then I think that's a clever choice. Allows for a lot of flex through the early going-ons. Literally getting a win because your boy is one of the most prolific RPG players this side of the Nile, if that's a saying. And I straight up love stuff like this.
あ、こいつ。よし、わかった。
Not only was that kinda low-key funny due to gobbers suddenly spitting on him in anger, but that was a surprisingly good showing of CGI too.
また光った。
I won't show the wanton destruction, but it's nice to see an anime leaning onto its darker foundations and not sparing my little innocent eyes some halved goblins. I'm positive if you're watching this, you've seen the anime, so yeah, the stabby scene. Oddly hilarious.
黒猫族が
力さえあれば
Two wins. Firstly, that darker side showing. Could have had him throw the rock and she's fine, but she did get hurt. Also serves to show her sad starting point in the story, while also building the world and story. Secondly, it's errors from Jobless Reincarnation. As a side note, cannot friggin' wait for season 2 of that, and naturally I've covered season 1. Watch it and relive the joy.
で、魔力吸われてる。やば。でもそのスキル。よっしゃ。魔力吸収ゲット。 ボーナススキル的なやつかな。
自己進化ポイント5を使用し
Due to my love of RPGs, these kinds of moments are fun for me too, seeing someone build up skills from nothing near the start to being super powerful later on.
その口に二度と。なんだ黒猫。突っ伏せ。
Showing us this side to her early on, letting us know what her personality is like, and that even whilst weak, she still stands up for others weaker than her in the moment. Giving me this little map and a better understanding of how the world works at the same time. Heavenly Slash actually looking like a pretty cool attack. They also do a really good job on the damage effects. Also, before I forget, take a win for going without an OP this first episode. Also, they go without an ED too, animating the whole way through it, so another win please. Again, massive props for using such high quality CGI. I gotta doff my cap.
とはいえ、防御力は異常な高さ。独断。
On top of the previously mentioned decent CGI, there's some great animation during this first episode too.
通りすがりの美少女エルフ剣士にでも抜いてもらえないだろうか。
Imaginary kawaii!
もうほんと誰でもいい。拾ってくれ。頼むから。俺って有料物件だよ。これで俺を装備するだけでめちゃくちゃ強くなれますよ。
Very clever way to get him to stay in one place to ultimately meet her, also making him wanted to be just anyone at this point, didn't matter who.
そんな誰か頼む。誰か俺を。
Nice touch dropping the comedy for a moment of genuine desperation as he wills someone to actually come along, because otherwise the alternative was starting to become a seriously worrying thought. Credit for pulling an Aruma-kun and animating the beast instead of doing a shield hero and CGIing it up. Great piece of music here. Normally, I almost never mention music in anime, so you know I dig that. So 3 wins here. Firstly, that darker side seriously on display as Triple Bear Chan went AOT and ate a dude. Secondly, it was good to see her striving to survive against all the odds. Great for character building her. Thirdly, I loved that moment from an artistic standpoint. Looked fantastic and very RPG-ish.
剣だ。お前が今抜こうとしている。
びっくり。
びっくりしているようには見えないんだが。
すごい。
I'm genuinely very impressed with the battle animation in this one. It's far, far better thus far than I thought it'd be due to its mouse score, which isn't bad by any means, but not great either.
面倒からの触れ上がる。
Okay, yeah, that was absolutely sick. Really awesome. You go, Sword Boy!
私は進化したい。進化は両親も果たせなかった夢だから。
Just using the end of the episode to set out the coming story in such a nice way. It's a simple one as well. No grand, I must save the world, or my sister who is imprisoned by a dancing ogre. It's this instead. I likes it. Great looking scenery shot. Man, oh man, yes, that's how you do CGI properly. Look at the depth it gives the goblins from this angle.
かつてフランの両親は幼い彼女を連れ進化をするための冒険に出た。
Honestly, this is perfect to me because it's exactly what I was hoping would have happened in her past, that her parents took her along in their drive to be the first to evolve, and it never happened for them.
師匠も汚れてる。
何よりフランは優しい子。
She really is, isn't she? They picked the perfect character for that role. Now that's a great OP where I come from. Awesome song and visuals that really reminded me of ReZero and Berserk of all things too. Plus it showed loads of characters we're going to meet and locations we're going to visit. I dig it.
この男をついでに護衛させる気だな。
町まで護衛してあげてもいいけど。
いや参ったな、お見通しか。
Yes, I like this too. Keeping their communication a secret and he can aid her like this. Scratch that, I love it.
魔獣はどれだけ危険かを表す脅威度でランク分けされてるんだ。
Nice little explanation of a part of this world's lore surrounding the grading of beasts.
永久にはかの有名な百剣のホールンドや騎士魔人アマンダがいる。
あれがアレッサの町。
町への入場料は立て替えておくよ。
I freaking love stuff like this, dude. Really puts me in the frame of mind of the Lord of the Rings. Look at it. The amount of effort put into this first city is frankly amazing. A lot of shops, residential areas, adventurers milling around, where he could have cut serious corners and kept it very basic.
俺って激レアな魔剣だと思ってたのに、俺より攻撃力高い剣ゴロゴロいるんですけど。
This reveal is actually most excellent, as it means he, and by connection she, is not just instantly the strongest beings in this new world.
師匠は私を助けてくれた。綺麗ですごい剣。スキルをたくさん持ってて使いこなす剣なんて他にない。
These moments are great to showcase the other side to her personality, from the badass who kept attacking her owners in order to escape or help others, to now showering him with praise when he needs it. Prime example of win number 41 and what I was talking about.
ほう、予想以上に本格的だな。
Can I just say, as a proclaimed lover of RPGs, that's absolutely sick that it's right by the guild.
俺はアレッサギルド試験官ドナドロンモノである。
Endeavor for My Hero Academia. He's even got the flames too.
攻撃力650だと。
I'm not even being funny. How sick is that?
フランは俺が守る。
一時的に練習します。
I must admit I'm blown away by the animation in this battle. They didn't go all out, there's obviously not a budget for that, but it was fantastic in its own right. Extremely impressed, and that's 2 max wins.
私は
Originally was going to ship this scene with the last double wins, but nah, it gets its own.
剣技ドラゴンファング。
Oh my goodness, yes! That gets another one! It looked great too!
合格？合格みたいです。
That.
ドナドロンド君、笑い事ではないのですがね。
Pooh from Hunter x Hunter. This whole scene gets an easy win too. He tries to find out how she's powerful. She hilariously is like, nope, not telling. He blocks the attempt to force info out of her using his ability. We learn some lore. It's a good scene, bruh.
装備者フラン、職業を魔剣士で登録しました。登録完了。こちらがギルドカードです。
Man, they really didn't have to go so hard on the awesomeness of that guild card. Looks legit, and she's got her class sorted. I'm gonna keep gushing about this. The fact that these side characters look so insanely detailed is a massive boon to the anime. Normally they'd be in the back and nearly faceless. That was awesome. Nice clean blocking technique too.
俺まだ何も。
What the heck? I can't show it, but that dude lost his feet. They came off all nasty like. Such a nice touch because Fran is becoming legit in her own way, rather than purely powerful because of him. Fantastic last minute plot twist after a spanking great episode. What I call a by the numbers decent ED. No big thrills, just simple animation with a good song.
あんな子供にもったいないだろう。ああ、気にするな。わしの武具を転売しようっていう不届き者どもだ。
Love me some little lore drips and drops like this, just filling us in on who he is, how his work is seen by others, and how some take advantage of the lack of blacksmiths in the town.
インテリジェンスウェポンなんてな。
Good to show this side to her because it shows she actually listened when he said, let's go with him, but be wary.
お前さんは魔力伝導率 A、伝導率は 200%、魔力を100込めたら攻撃力は200もアップするんじゃ。
I really got to heap praise on this aspect to the anime. It's the whole deep dive on things not normally in isekai. Usually it's pretty straightforward, but here we're getting a lot of little extra details. It's that she replied to his friend with teacher like that made me chuckle so much. 50% is for her cutely yawning during all the sword talk, and the other half is for the excellent CGI bending bow. Genuinely so incredibly shocked that armor and clothing was thought of in this one. No one ever thinks about clothing for the most part. Tell ya, that's missing in most new RPGs too. I want to equip everything, not just a weapon, you feel me?
おお、こんなにスパイスが。 初期もいい感じに揃ってるじゃないか。
This is so far arguably the most game-like anime I've ever seen. Now we're in an item shop.
いや、そんなにすごくないぞ。普通だ。
Seeing her so happy about being in a normal room after her previous life warms my heart.
きっと俺はフランのためにこの世界に来たんだ。
That's an honestly lovely internal response from him, like he sees himself as her father. That was absolutely hilarious, bruh. That's so awesome, and they showed it all again. Noggins going flying and all sorts. Take a win for her final move there, but also I loved how he's defending her mid-battle from stuff like archers. It just looks so incredibly cool to me, not gonna lie.
上位種のホブゴブリンが複数いるってことは、長であるゴブリンキングがいる可能性が高いの。
Oh, so much detail in the lore. I'm struggling with my love for it. On top of everything else, they don't half have some great looking effects too. Him protecting her like this, and the lore drop that these enemies can work together. Plus, it's good to see them on the ropes. When I saw her level increasing rapidly, I thought differently.
フランが欲しいのは借り物の見せかけの強さじゃない。
Introducing a way of building her character in this moment, which I also touched on, that she wants to become strong herself, not just by using him or looking strong. Rotating shot!
あさってにはゴブリン討伐にダンジョンデビューしなきゃいけなくなったんだ。
なんじゃと？
さっきのところで魔石を吸収してから町に戻ろう。
For some unknown reason, I enjoy that we were back in town getting our armor repaired, and then they showed what happened after in the forest, finding the goblin nest, and that's the next target.
フランさん、ギルドマスターが話を聞きたいそうなので、町に戻ってもらえますか。
とりあえずここは俺たちが監視しておく。
There's a very poignant team building being put on display already as well, how these guys and gals work together, how important the guild is for things other than just giving out quests and so on.
逃げなかったということは、もう巣穴には彼らの居場所がないということ。ほぼ力の強い上位種で固められている可能性が高い。
The creator must be a gamer. Straight up, who else could think of stuff like this? The goblins she fought didn't retreat because they couldn't go back there anymore, as what's in the hideout are now insanely tough.
お、これ修復の魔法か？
ああ、これでよし。魔法鍛冶師のスキルじゃ。
Ah, I thought he'd come out with a shiny new set, but they actually show the repair. So unique.
ただ同じ防具に施術するたびに効果が落ちるから触媒の量を増やさなきゃならん。
Who actually thinks this all up, though? This is insane, right?
ダンジョンってのは混沌の神が作り出したわしら人間への試練の場と言われてて、貴重な鉱物や魔法の武具やアイテムが眠っていることも多い。
I'm actually in awe of how much detail there is in the lore. Blown away. Got myself with the rhyme there.
この宿はギルド直轄でね。私たち受付嬢も部屋を借りてるのよ。初めてのダンジョンでしょ。フランちゃん強いのは分かってるけど無理はダメよ。
I gotta admit, for being 3 and a bit episodes in, I got a lot of love brewing for this anime already. Seeing them unwind like this, out of battle, the amount of info poured into scenes, like the fact that the assistants all reside there, makes it for me the perfect degree of battles, story, character growth, and downtime so far.
彼女は世界の停滞を防ぐため、人が未来に進む力を養うため。
Basically, this is what can only really be described as a disgustingly great amount of lore being dropped all over the place. So much I'm falling over it. I love that more than I can describe.
邪神に落ちた戦いの神は圧倒的な力を得て、他の神々に戦いを挑んだそうよ。
I'm not sure how much more delicious lore I can consume before I gotta visit the restroom.
こいつを持って行ってくれや。
お、これが俺の鞘？
Yes! Yes, it really and truly does, doesn't it?
気合い入るぜ。一応やってやろうぜ、フラン。
Even this is a nice addition, that being carts pulled up outside. Normally it'd just be people, but it makes sense to bring gear and items along and whatever else.
何事だ？大変です。ゴブリンが突如一斉に出てきました。
Excellent plot twist by having it happen during his monologue.
空中跳躍だ。おい、なんだあれ。
魔術トライエクスプロージョン。
剣技ソニックエイブ。
Watching them show off together and literally save people's lives in the process, mixed with all that animation goodness and seeing everyone shocked, it just doesn't get much better than that. Just when I think I'm done, they pull me back in with the need to issue out a fat double max wins for this.
これで我がダンジョンゴブリン帝国に負けはない。
Great end to yet another great episode on the bounce with this reveal.
ま、いざとなれば有り金はたいて手に入れたアイテム天意の羽で脱出できるしな。
You guys think of everything, I love it. Take a win here for the collective goblin slaying action, of which there is a lot. I've gushed on the animation, CGI, and now I must add effects to that list. It's at a quality where you just know full well that a lot of time and effort went into it. I keep cutting it out because it's worth noting that during these awesome effects, goblins are legit being disintegrated by the flames. It looks sick.
師匠のバカ、ゴブリンキングと戦ってみたかったのに。
トライエクスプロージョン。
リーダー、いただき。
I'm gonna cut back on the gushing just one more time. I had to drop a win for how impressive the effects are in this.
最深部へようこそ歓迎するぜ。
Genuinely unexpected that they did both talk and also look entirely different to what was set up before now. One of the best plot twists I've seen in a very, very long time, because that's not normally how this would go. There'd be a big fight, sure, but for her to lose her hands? That's nasty. That's 2 wins nasty. In every way, shape and form, he just saved her life. Blocked the attack, put up a firewall to defend for a moment, reconnected her hands and performed a greater heal. My word, that was fantastic and intense.
空中ではなく必ず魔力の気配が地面から現れる。フラン、影だ。奴はお前の影から現れてる。スキル、振動眼魔毒が。
ソニックレイズ。
That was absolutely brilliant, and you just gotta appreciate the depth of lore in this world's skill, as he tried and ended up figuring out what kind of magic he was using to appear out of nowhere. Okay, so 2 wins here, but the next one will have sound, but definitely one here for this smooth animation. And the second one is for that gorgeous effect. I can't not shout that out. Take a big old surprised win, because I genuinely thought she'd now be on the ropes, and instead she's kicking even more ass than ever before. But best of all, it wasn't just pulled out of nowhere. This aspect to their relationship has been grounded way back in episode 1 or early episode 2.
その侵入者と後続の冒険者どもを蹴散らしてアレッサの町を蹂躙するのだ。
Also take one here for these monsters not acting like they would in normal anime. He might be fighting unfairly by trying to use his steel skills, but he's still fighting fair with his skills and thus doesn't want trash mobs getting involved. It's honestly sad that not enough people are talking about the glorious looking effects in this one. Look at it! Great seeing this side to him, who clearly cares for her, at least at this point, just through sheer respect. But it's awesome seeing them really want to get in there to help her. Now in the same vein, we get to see this moment, expertly built up by episode 3, I believe, where they did a deep dive on the town and its people and her time there, making this moment have such a strong impact as a result. No way am I letting that go by without a win. I don't even care if I keep on winning it. I winned a couple of episodes back how they put nice detail into the outside of the cave when they formed up, but here we get even more visuals of that. It legit warms my heart like a fire arrow to see him finally now be on the ropes for a change. Darkness. How has this got less than 8 out of 10 on my anime list? I don't even know. ソニックシュートだ。
この時を待っていたんだぜ。
軌道がなんだこの剣は。魔力が上がって。
He did this!
全魔力充填。俺の魔力全部くれてやら。
Such a ridiculously easy Max 2 wins to issue out here. Easiest thus far. Off the charts great build up and effects and animation with a lovely twist in there too. That was bloody brilliant.
俺の魔力も限界か。
No running on the spot.
この魔石美味しいです。
He's okay. I knew it would be, but it's still a win. I'm happy now.
ダンジョンマスター覚悟。
She's really becoming so awesome so quickly in this story, I swear.
ダンジョンが活動を停止した。
Take one here for beating the dungeon, but also for how weird it looks. Like, it's just become apparent how game-like this world actually is.
それはともかく、無作戦、単独行動は危険すぎると厳しく言ったはずだ。
I do really like him. I hope he'll be a proper side character moving forwards and not forgotten about. Just putting it out there because he cared for her. He's quite non-one-dimensional, really.
私が怒られてる間ずっとスキルのこと考えてた。カレーってどんな食べ物？カレー。
Such a nice building dynamic forming between them as well with moments like these. Must have been difficult writing that part of the story when coming up with the idea, but it just works. I'll just also add one for their displayed trip home. They didn't just magically appear back at the inn, they walked back. We saw adventurers all over the place in their wagons making the trip back.
魔石はどうなりましたか？
やっぱり来たか。
国も欲するレベルです。そういったものは必ず各所で魔石はどうなったか。
小娘、貴様、
嘘をついておるな。
Ending probably the best episode yet with an injection of some politics, but keeping it light and especially a bit more lore surrounding the crystals and such. Really impressively deep that well is so far.
騎士団の副団長である。
Normally I'd keep that silent and talk over it, but loved the rain sound there.
何せグレーターデーモンを単独で仕留めた方ですからね。素材はギルドに正式に収められたものですし、魔石をもし彼女が持っていたとしても、あのダンジョンの攻略作戦の要請を断ったのはあなた方ですよ。
Truly unpredictable thus far, and let's be real, in all other anime, this wouldn't have resulted in this guy getting nothing for his effort. He's protected her, then further said, you're not getting anything from us either.
いやいや、待て待て、落ち着けフラン。
Kawaii!
スキルテイカー。
The best part about this is that they can take the skill without it even being noticed. Such a nice little touch, adding a painting of the entrance to their city in his office.
なんだ。誰だ。
Just when I thought it wouldn't be addressed, they give us this. A look into what happened to him after he died in episode 1. Very impressed. Have a win for the whole cooking scene. Even though I don't eat meat, I thought the burgers looked legit. Her reaction to the curry. Always appreciated by yours truly when the studio animates through a montage instead of music over stills. Proper kawaii!
痛めつけて売っちまうか、切り刻んで猟犬の餌にするか。
青猫族、黒猫族の敵。
Nothing in this anime is being left by the wayside unexplained as we now learn more about her species. Everything must be included in the lore is their tagline.
何百年も昔、私たち黒猫族を騙して最低の身分にした。
Everything must be included in the lore.
聞いたことあるか。
Obviously I let it around it, but that darker side be so dark I can barely see, bruh. Seriously messed up stuff he's saying about something horrible he did in the past. Wow.
遠慮なく殺せる。え？は？師匠よりヘボいけど綺麗な剣。
What I liked here is that he didn't just help her, he allowed her to help herself. Otherwise she wouldn't have been able to grow in this moment. Plus then she became a badass again. She unequipped his arms and legs in order to sell them, if you catch my drift, using gaming terms.
こんなにも命の軽い世界で俺の住んでた世界の価値観を押し付けるのは違うか。
Half the win is for him stating this, which is good I think. It fully distinguishes this world from the real one, which it should be, as that makes for the best stories in my mind, and the other half is for unequipping his helmet, let's say.
ごめんなさいね。あれ？
Kawaii!
私があなたのママよ！少し間違えたわ。私をママと呼んでいいのよ！
Like Swordgun, I was so impressed by this scene and then just ended up laughing harder than I should have. Again, it feels like most other studios would have given this the montage treatment and instead they animated the entire thing from start to finish. Most impressive.
8? それは横暴です。
6個。
いやいやいや、だから4つが限界です。
さよなら。
わかりました。5つ。
Her face just makes this whole negotiating scene that much more funny to me.
あなたが D ランクに上がったことを怪しんでいる冒険者たちが思ったよりも多いんです。あなたが金銭を使って昇格しただのは。
Even this is being addressed. I love this story. They near think of everything.
それがあんなことになるなんて。
They're great when it comes to setting up the next episodes. Big end of episode plot twist here.
キルマスに取り入ってランクアップさせてもらった自称ランク D のガキっつうのはよ。
Using the start of this episode to introduce a whole bunch of new characters and, most impressively of all, have them all appear completely different, which is great because usually they'd all look the same or be wearing the same armor or wouldn't have their faces on display, but these people all look entirely different.
なんて言ったのかしら？
なんでこれ！すいません、ほんとすいません。
The disparity of strength on display as he goes from bravado to begging for forgiveness in seconds flat. This.
明日早くダンジョンに入ることにする。おのおの、食事と寝具は準備してあるな。
Oh, they've thought of everything in this anime! I'm so happy my prior dungeon prep related win wasn't a one-off!
ウィンドゾーン、アースゾーン。
This example of mixing CGI effects with the animation to great results.
ダブルスピアー！装備パワースイング！くそ！ダブル！
息上がってる。
Fantastic battle over and done with, very snappy as she proves her point and defends her teacher's honor in an epically smooth style that's very much looking to be the bread and butter of this anime.
フランさん、峰打ちというかそれは腹打ち。
After pointing out that she beat him without really using the sword, which was the point, she just hilariously starts kinda lightly hitting him with the flat end. Exactly what I was talking about in the last win, a very consistent style of animation on display. Nothing like My Hero Academia Season 6's first half, but it wouldn't be with this starting budget. But it's bloody still good. It's also worth pointing out how they use very unique angles to help sell the battles as well, whilst reducing on workload. It's similar to, but more intensive than Dragon Ball Super. Far more intensive work than that actually. Really, Dragon Ball Super took the easiest route of all. One more such example! The music is actually very good here, liking that battle theme a lot.
ウィンドシールド
My god, that fight was far better than I thought it'd be. I figured a quick 30-second bit in the episode, not what it turned out to be. That was friggin' great. Take 2 max wins for that. It's good to see this other side to her that panicked and immediately rushed to her aid, no doubt fearing having gone way too far for a duel.
Rigu, 水魔術で火消しを頼む。他の者も鎮火に協力してくれ。
火のあるところで火炎魔術はまずかったよな。
I swear this might be the only anime I've ever seen to mention stuff like this. They did it during the goblin battle in the forest as well when using fire attacks.
いいのよ、まだ横になってて。見張りはクルスたちがやってくれてるから大丈夫よ。
You guys and gals gotta tell me in the comments, is it just me amazed by how the story covers things that normally don't get mentioned? Like that another group is on guard duty, so she hasn't got to worry about that. Or the last win with the fire attacks. Let me know, I'm genuinely intrigued.
ちょっといじめちゃったかしらね。わかっているわ。あなたの中にはちゃんとお母さんがいるものね。
これが子供の守護者か。
Oh man, that was so sweet and out the blue, it made some rain want to drop onto my eyes. Final win for this episode for going without an ED for that extra juicy content we love so much. Not only do they know how to end an episode really well, but kick one off as well.
虫なんか怖がる冒険者がいるか？
はいはい、集中して後方の警戒。
See, even this is appreciated by me as the group forms into teams within the dungeon, covering forward patrols, rear guards, and then those in the middle.
我先に攻略戦って冒険者たちがごった返してて、でもその反面、命を落とす人も多くて、そのせいで拠点だったアレッサには孤児が増えたの。私が孤児院を開いたのもそれが始まりね。
Adding yet more realism into this world by taking the time to mention how a lot of people lost their lives striving to be the first to complete the dungeon years ago, and then using that to link into her own character background.
ここは多少複雑な構造だ。加えて雲型以外の昆虫型魔獣が品質するから。
I love how they didn't reuse the same design for each floor. It's really very clever to use the moment they're all fighting to explain how arts and skills and such work. It's worth just dropping another win for even more info regarding spells and magic and stuff. They really did a deep dive and kept it easy to understand and gave multiple examples that sound like they came out of various games.
他にも回復魔術、召喚魔術、世界を見ればもっとたくさんのすごいいっぱい。
すごい。進化ポイントは47か。火魔術はもうレベル10だから。I
don't think I'll ever get bored of watching people react to her acting like this. Yeah, I know, he didn't have to write that into his story's lore, but he did anyway. It really is like maybe World of Warcraft? I didn't do too many dungeons, always struggled to get into a good guild, but I did quite a few, and this is what it's like. Oh, the memories!
回復魔術で解毒してやれ。
回復魔術、アンチドート。
上位種のトリックスパイダーだぞ。
猛毒を使う上位種みたい。みんな気をつけて。
To be honest, I just also dig scenes like this, where he's helping from the rear, scanning enemies and aiding her.
壁の中でもない限り。俺が何とかする。俺が。
転移先が変更されたということですか。
ダンジョンマスターもいねえのにありえませんぜ。
Yet another great friggin' plot twist, bruh.
トリックスタースパイダー。
Emergency hot spider related win. Oddly enough, likely because of the heavy character building between them, it's rough to see her on her own and at the same time will force her to test herself without him for the first time.
トリックスタースパイダー。
おそらくね。
バカな。偶然でそんな進化が起きたとでも。
This entire scene is a little too long to risk showing too many examples from it, but it's good how once again they organize and plan and form into teams ready to find the three of them.
空気の流れで範囲内の音を拾うのか。
That's what I've been hoping to see, examples of using magic for various different purposes, such as her wind magic being used to try and listen out for Fran at a massive distance.
何？召喚魔術？
さあ頼むぞ。フランを探し出してくれ。
この姿、オニキスウルフ。どうなってるの？一体誰が召喚を？
God, they do bits like this so well! I really do enjoy people wondering what the hell is going on when he does stuff like this.
私じゃない何かを狙って。ダンジョンの魔獣じゃないの？
Also props for realism as she draws her weapon. Jet!
よしよし、ルシー。俺の装備者フランの匂いを覚えて探せ。
Being nice to summoned magical animals is always a win.
お前は負けない。俺が保証する。
師匠が教えてくれたことだ。この体がある。
限界なんか。
超えてやる。
Exactly the kind of character building I was hoping to get from her, playing out beautifully.
グレーターヒールアンチドート。
ありがとう。
一人でよく頑張ったな。お前は本当自慢の弟子だよ。
Not gonna lie, absolutely thrilled to see them back together. It's like things in the world feel right again.
もふもふ嬉しい。ありがとう。
As a doggo dad to two good boys, I love stuff like this.
ちょっと寂しいけど、フランが信用できる人間が増えるのはいいことだよな。
Odd as it might seem on the surface, I get his point here, feeling sad that she's not just yours anymore. You gotta share her with the world. May seem selfish, but I totally get it, and it's realistic.
権利ダウンブレイク。すっげえ。
Such an odd mixture of me being like, wow, at that move, and then laughing at him getting hit.
やっちゃえ、嬉しい。
フレアブラスト。
Lots of different types of magic being used.
私は冒険者になりたがるキナンとフラメアに戦い方を教えなかった。もう死なせるもんですか。フランちゃんは
With everything that's happened so far, I'm very impressed that time was taken to delve at least a little into her backstory with some growth added in for good measure.
レアな魔石は残してほしかったなんてね。
自分でやり返したかった。
These bloody moments never fail to get a chuckle out of me.
後ろに子雲をつけなければ今のはきっと死んでた。はい。
やっぱ許さねえ。
So very unexpected.
その名も黒猫シリーズじゃ。喜べ。祝福されたネームドアイテムじゃぞ。
The awesome looking armor.
お、この通り。多少の攻撃を弾いちまう。
Although it's never bothered me one iota, it's good to see an anime tackle armor that's open and how it still works like here.
で、次はウルムットに向かうのか。わしらドワーフは山の民で泳げんから陸路で行くことに。向こうに着いたら探してくれ。
Again, let's be real, any other story, he's joining them, isn't he? Here, because he's a dwarf, he's mountainous by nature and can't swim, so he'll be going the land route while they go the sea one. But most importantly, he's coming too!
いいか、困った時は冒険者の心得100か条を思い出してだな。ジョーちゃん、元気でな。
次は俺が勝つ。
それは絶対無理。
Feels like such an excellent stopping point before season 2, leaving this first town behind and moving on, saying goodbye to all of these characters who she means a lot to, and vice versa as well.
羨ましいけど、でも本当に良かった。
またね、ママンダ。アマンダはみんなのママンダだね。
フランって名付けたの。
祝ってくれる？あなたたちの忘れがたみフランちゃんは立派に生きてるわ。
This can have two max wins. Firstly, because it just felt nice that she got to see her off with a smile, which she always regretted not doing for the youngsters who ultimately then lost their lives adventuring. Secondly, it's because she knew her as a baby, as it turns out. That's a lovely twist, and calling her mama was beautiful too.
覆面調査ご苦労様でした。
おじ上、何度か死にかけましたよ。
I again tip my cap, using the end of the episode for another dose of lore, politics being mentioned, some last-minute reveals I didn't see coming. Absolutely brilliant stuff to set up the second season. Sword flying!
我が名はジャン・ドゥービー。魔導の闇を探求する思考の資料魔術師なり。
Bless your damn hearts, you only went and brought this guy Amanda mentioned recently into the second season story, haven't you? Creator follower, Lefty, Corey Bush, Unacami Water, Manuel Morales, Marquez, Nick Wyndham, Warkeeper, The Epic Commander, Eaglist, Word Without a Word, Brendan Creer, Christopher Willis, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Gaten 2000, Jessica Starks, Captain, Cumfreak, Kylie W, Magnus, Nathan Burr, Satai Kuyore, Sean, Sebastian Ramirez, Wigan Faye, Ali 50, Baked Patats 3827, Dark Lord Blade Soul, Dub Defender Matt Mallow, Guru, Israel Caldera, Yor Edfinson, Jonas Stahl, Jaffa 6263, Kieran Robinson, Kelnok, Kevin Nauta, Conito, Laxus, Luis Cruz, Matthew Blansett, Nicholas C, 1928, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Peter Milligan, Saintfo 25, Sentimento, Storm 970, The Elementator Wars.